What he wants out of all of this, out of everybody's life, is for our relationship with him to be strengthened, for us to get closer to him, for our will to be aligned with his will, for our prayers now to be praying like, God, whatever you have for us, that's what we want.
Welcome to the Family Business with the Alessis, where family is everybody's business. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever. And welcome to the Family Business Podcast. My name is Stephanie Muiña, and I'm here with my husband, Christopher Muiña. And we are here to talk about something that we've been navigating, which is faithfulness or foolishness. Dun, dun, dun. And how to walk that tight line of listening to wisdom and stepping out in faith when it comes to our finances, when it comes to our parenting, when it comes to our marriage, but also trying to stay within the guidelines of wisdom and practical steps for our future, which I'm sure a lot of people deal with today. So this is our first time talking about it. We talk about it all the time at home. But right now we wanted to get on the podcast and really just expand on this topic and share with everybody how we're dealing with it, how we're walking through it. Right now, personally, we are searching for a home in Miami, Florida, which is like trying to find the needle in a haystack.
Which you need faith for.
And a lot of wisdom, too. And it has been a really, really big stretching season for us, is the best way to say it. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And I think these two these two truths of faith and wisdom, you can apply them to really anything that you're going through in life, whether it's health, whether to listen to that doctor diagnosis, or to have faith that God is going to heal you, whether you're looking for a house like we are. Should we how much of a stretch are we stretching our faith, or should we stay within the close tight knit of our budget, or whatever it is, you can use that. But we have this battle in our minds, especially as believers, of these two truths of faith and wisdom cannot live together. When I think the Bible says that they do go together.
Hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. But for some reason, we put them on these polar opposite ends of life where they can't. Because if you're operating in too much faith, then you're operating in foolishness. Or if you're operating in too much
practicality,
wisdom, it's too practical, and you're not exercising your faith enough. That's the scale, right? Mm-hmm. That in our minds, we tend to put them on these two different scales. But first of all, what is this conversation? Where is it going to lead? What does the Bible say about it? That's the whole thing, right? Of where we're at, what we're talking about. So
I love that you said that sometimes we think that it has to be one or the other. But what I've learned, I'm 28 years old, you're 36. What I'm learning is, we have a huge age gap, scandalous. But what is fun is learning that adulthood and maturity it's not a balancing act. It's like a braiding of all of that, where you are operating in wisdom. You are taking all of the lessons your parents passed down to you, that you learned in school, that you learned from your elders or your mentors, and then you are blending it in with what the Lord is asking of you for this season, and using faith to walk that out. And it is this crazy walk. It's such a stretching. You're learning so much about life, about how God works in you. I think what's cool is also you and I are learning how the Lord is using us and how the Lord speaks to us apart from everybody else, which is a really cool season to walk through, because once I get a word from God, then I feel like you will get it, or vice versa. And you just see what God is evident throughout the entire process, but we're learning as we go. So we should probably share personally, what is it that we are walking out? Like, what's our plan? What is it that the steps that we are taking with our home, so that people see the example of what we're talking about?
So we want a bigger home for our family, single family. We have this whole checklist, right? We want a 2-car garage. We would like a pool. We would like a big lot, in a good location. We want what everybody wants, pretty much, right? We currently own our townhome, so we have to sell that townhome in order to make the leap into the single family. Now, in the Miami market, there's a big disparity between the townhome cost or price range and the single family price range. So we're in that leap of faith, right? Got to sell one. Oh God, what do we do if we can't find a house in time? Like, what if we can't find a house we can afford, or a house we don't like? It's an unknown, right? It's unknown waters that we're walking into. So that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
And that's what kind of sparked this whole conversation.
Yeah, and we might have to move in with our parents for a short time to look for a house, which I always believed was like a big no-no. Like, you just can't do that. Only to discover that so many couples have had to, because they're renovating their home, they're looking for a home. It's a very normal thing to do, and I really thought that was like a failure in my naive mind. And now I'm learning it's something that we might even have to do as we're searching. And at the same time, we also said, okay, every single day, I in our closet, I printed out a picture of, like, a bunch of pictures of you and I. It's sort of like a vision board, our kids, Bible verses, and then I put a picture of a house that's like my dream house. And we said, okay, every day we're just going to put our hand over it and pray for it and just pray that God's will be done. So I'm learning, like, okay, this is something that I'm going to have to be stretched in this. And this is, I have to really, really stir up my faith side as we walk out the practical side. But a big lesson was learning that, like, a lot of the practical side that I saw as failures are just things they're refining seasons that you have to walk through. And they help, number one, bring us closer together, big time. And then they also help us align with what the Lord wants for us. Because I feel like at the beginning of this, I had a totally different idea of what I wanted in a house, what I wanted for this next season. And now, because of this, the doors closing, the house isn't coming up. What I love is it's kind of repositioned my prayers to now say, okay, well, Lord, what do you want for us? What is it that you have in mind for us? Which I'm so grateful for, because what I thought was faith was actually just me chasing a dream that was not ours. It was my dream, but it wasn't our dream. And I think that the Lord allowed me to walk through a season of, like, hey, I'm not going to open up this door yet until you and your husband are in alignment with what God's will is for our life.
Well, we go through a class in church about prayer and what is effective prayer. One of the titles is like how to get God to answer your prayers, right? It's just to kind of catch your attention, and it's all about aligning your will with God's will, right? And ultimately, God, He's not really concerned about the house we have.
Yeah,
that's not on His radar. What He wants out of all of this, out of everybody's life, is for our relationship with Him to be strengthened, for us to get closer to Him, for our will to be aligned with His will, for our prayers now to be praying like, God, whatever you have for us, that's what we want. He wants our heart. It's been God's desire since day one, since He created Adam and Eve. He wanted our heart. He wants us to worship Him. So He uses the process of searching for a home, or the process of a health scare, or the process of, searching for a spouse, to get us closer to Him. That's His end goal.
So then, here, drink my tea.
I got water.
So, question for you, Chris, and you can take a minute to think about it, because it is a big question. How have you like found a way to walk in faith, but within the boundaries of wisdom in this season?
That's a good one, because out of the two of us, I'm the nuts and bolts, practical. I run the finances in the house. Like, I have my finger to the pulse, on the pulse of our finances.
Yes.
I like to look at the budget a couple times a week, right? I'm the practical thinker. So for me, I'm going to want to stay within those parameters of, well, this is the home we can afford.
Yeah.
You know, this is the maximum we can squeeze out of our budget right now to be able to afford this home at this price. You're more the
faith.
The faith. You bring the faith to the relationship.
Yeah.
When it comes to those things. So it's a stretch for me, but at the same time, if I'm leading our home in my strength only, then I'm not leading it right, because I'm not having faith and trusting in God to stretch us, to lead us, right? So I need to activate that faith side in order to be doing my role as the leader of our home correctly, the way God wants it done. So it's it doesn't matter what type of person you are, and you need the practical side. You need to know the practical side of what we're getting into.
Yeah.
Because there's the wisdom side of it, right?
Yeah.
Going back to faith and wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, wisdom is simply searching for the most effective action to take.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Bible talks about how faith without actions is dead.
Yeah.
So the two coincide.
Yeah,
they should be working together if done correctly.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I had to ask myself, when we were looking for a home, you know, it also was back when I was when we were both single and dating, and I was praying for God to bring me a spouse. I had to ask the Lord, okay, like I said earlier, am I praying for the future that you have planned for me, God? Because you know what I'm going to want and what I'm going to need 10 years from now. And am I using my faith to believe you're going to give me exactly what I want and what I need for today and for tomorrow? Because God He's omniscient, He's omnipresent, He knows the beginning and the end. So He knows exactly what I'm going to need today, and He knows exactly what we're going to need 20 years from now. And do I have the faith to trust God to supply that? And I think God takes He goes, yes, I will give you everything you need, and I'll give you everything that you want. But I have to make sure that I'm making God my number one provider before He supplies any of those things. Because if I'm asking for my dream home, our dream home is going to get us into thousands of dollars of debt after owning it for a year, and that's not wisdom. That's not the will of God for my life. God is a God of order. And I need to have the correct faith that trusts that God is putting me in the right place at the right time with the right provisions in His way that He gives it, not in my way. And that takes bigger faith. I think sometimes the use for your faith changes with the day and with the needs. So yes, there are some days that I have to say, hey, we have to have faith that God's going to give us a beautiful home. Because there are days that we look at a house that it's within our price range, but it is nothing like we want or what we've prayed for. If anything, it feels like a step back in terms of a home.
Right. In our own strength, we can go out this week, put an offer on our house,
and get
if we wanted it, right? Yeah. In our own strength, but that's not really what we want.
It's not an improvement. And that's where I have to activate the faith that says, no, this is the kind of house that I'm praying for, and this is the kind of house that we want to get. But then when it comes to the money and when it comes to how much the houses cost, and we're having that conversation, then I have to say, okay, well, Lord, I just have faith that you're going to give us exactly what we need. And it's the prayer, it doesn't change, but my heart position has to adjust a little bit, where I say, Lord, I trust you to give me exactly what you want to give me for the season that you're going to give it to me for, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I guess the faith, it doesn't go up and down. I have to apply it wisely. And I have to apply it, how's the best way to say it? I have to apply it in a way that's going to align me with the Lord's will and not my own will. And there's a proverb that talks about a young man that chases after the wind. And you only get stuck chasing after the wind. And that's not wisdom. Wisdom is chasing after the things that the Lord wants for you. I think that's probably my what I'm learning. It's like, okay, well, let me use my faith wisely. Because God's going to give me that dream house, but maybe it's not tomorrow, but it'll be at the right time. Because, I mean, you speak to people in their 60s, and they'll tell me, well, I so badly wanted this one house, but we just didn't get it. But thank God, God didn't give that to us in that season. Because if he had, we wouldn't have been ready for it. And that's where my faith is being activated in a new way, where it's faith and trust working together.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And if you're a listener and you don't even know where to start, right? Then I would say start with the counsel of many, right? The Bible says in the counsel of many, there's wisdom. In the counsel of many, wage war, right?
Yeah.
Like go for it.
Yeah.
And we've done the counsel of many. We currently still do the counsel of many, right?
Yeah,
That's a part of our normal routine is seeking counsel of the people that we have over us.
Yeah.
For these decisions. But there's the aspect of it of there's got to be an action.
Yeah.
There has to be, I think in every believer, there should be a level of risk or an aspect of risk that they are taking in their life in some way, shape, or form. Because that risk really puts it on the Lord and be like, hey, we put our house up for sale. Yeah. It's on the market right now, God. That means we're putting it on you.
Yeah.
The next move is on you. First of all, to bring us the right buyer, but also to make that home available for us when we do sell our home.
Yeah.
So the action, it's the chess move that is like, all right, God, we're doing our part.
Yeah.
Now we have faith that you're going to do yours
part.
like you always have been. He always has in our life. He's never not come through in our life.
And you know what else, Chris? What's really been fun about this season is that God has given me a new definition of faith and a new definition of practical. Because a lot of times I associated faith with big dreams that are way out of reach. And while sometimes faith can mix with that, that's not all it is. And then sometimes I mixed practical thinking with scarcity thinking and fearful thinking, which is not what practical thinking is. That's the wisdom isn't saying, oh, well, there's not a lot of houses out there, so snatch one up now while you have the chance. Mm-hmm. That's not wisdom. Wisdom isn't saying there's not a lot of good guys out there anymore, so if you have a just okay one, then just marry them. That's not faith. That's fear. That's scarcity mindset. That's a scarcity mindset. And
that's making God feel smaller.
I know. And the other day, remember how I told you, a scarcity mindset can really be, and I use this word wisely, demonic. Because a scarcity mindset introduces a fear to you that is masked as wisdom, which could then drive you to obsess over things that become your provider. For example, I was looking at Zillow every single morning. Every morning I would wake up and I would open, the first app that I would open was Zillow, because that was the one thing I could control. That was the one thing that made me feel like it would provide me something within instance. It would make me feel like, okay, at least something is happening. Let me go on Zillow. At least I can find this one house that is somewhat in our price range. We can go look at it today. But was I allowing the Lord to be my provider? Or was I allowing Zillow to be my provider? And I remember I was talking to my sister when she was single. She had the same issue with a dating app, that every day she would go and wake up and she would look at the dating app the first thing in the morning. And she said the same thing. It was the one thing in my control to help me get closer to the thing I was praying for. But I was putting that on the pedestal before I was putting God on the pedestal. And essentially it replaces God, which is demonic, mm-hmm. which is putting something worldly, which is putting something fleshly before God. And it's trusting in earthly things more than it's trusting in the Lord to be your provider. And a scarcity mindset has nothing to do with practical and wise thinking. It is fearful. It is straight from the enemy. And it squashes your faith every time, which means it is not of God. And I had to tell myself, if anything is taking me away from my faith, then I have to get rid of it. I have to get it out of my life. If it's becoming my answer provider before God is, then it has to be gone. And it's so tough for our generation because within seconds, I can get the answer to a question on my phone. Like, we don't know what it's like to live in the 60s and 50s where if you needed to find a spouse, if you needed to find a job, if you needed to find a home, if you needed to pay the bill, you couldn't just go online and automatically search for ways to get out of it. You had to wait on the Lord. You had to just wait for God to deliver you. And today, that's a really big thing that I've had to challenge myself in. Just let God be the only answer provider. Let him be the one that brings the home. He brought my spouse out of nowhere in the worst conditions so he can bring our home in the same way.
Yeah, yeah. What about the wisdom side of it?
I know.
How do you juggle that?
I know. I don't know.
Because for example, even in another topic of like health, right?
Yeah.
You get a diagnosis from the doctor. What do you do with that diagnosis?
Yeah.
You continue to get all the tests done and the procedures and surgeries or whatever it is. We know families like that currently who are going through that. Doesn't mean they don't have faith.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We went through our own health thing this year.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean we didn't have faith.
Yeah. How do you get through it? What do you do? What about you, mister?
Well, wisdom is finding the best way through, best course of action, right?
Yeah.
And God uses doctors.
Yeah.
God uses medicine. I think they're there for a reason, and we can definitely use them and rely on them. And as long as we're not looking at doctors and medicine as our source, like you said, right? As our healer.
Yeah.
Medicine can do the job. It can heal our body, but who eliminated man's mind to create the medicine or to create that machinery or that surgery or whatever?
Yeah.
Who's getting the glory in it all?
Yeah. For me, when I walk through seasons that I truly just don't know how to navigate, and this is a season I don't know how to navigate, just being very transparent. I've never we have bought the townhouse, but searching for a new home in a market that is very, very hard. This is a whole new frontier for me. And in these seasons where I don't know what to do, I heavily rely on the wisdom of my friends and family and leaders around me. Heavily. I choose the people that I want to mimic their life, and I go and I talk to them. And I'm very transparent. I tell them all of our issues, all of our hurdles, and I ask for advice. And I ask for practical advice. I ask for spiritual advice. And I then bring it back to you. And if it works for us, then we pursue it. And if it doesn't, then we just keep going. But I really try to rely on the wisdom of my leaders around me and of my parents. And what I have noticed is when some of the wisdom stings, when the advice that they give me hurts, and that's to me a sign of it stretching me. Like was it last week when we looked at that big field out in Palmetto Bay? Mm-hmm. So last week we found this huge lot down south. And I got so excited about it because financially we could have done it. It actually kind of worked out. Timing, not really. But I was thinking, you know what? Let's just build our own home. We can build the dream house that we want, and it could be somewhat affordable. Well, I got excited, and I called my dad immediately right there on the spot on the lot. And my dad was like, well, where is it? And I told him it's down south. And he was like, you got to start looking in the area. Your kids are going to probably go to school because then you're going to be up 4 or 5 days out of the week driving them to school. And then I was like, come on. And I actually got frustrated with him because it was the look of the house, the look of the lot was everything we've wanted. But there was something about it that was not God. And my grandmother says all the time, there's good and then there's God. And this looked really, really, really like God, but it wasn't. It was good. So I called my dad, and you heard the whole conversation. He was just like, no, don't, this isn't it. Like that doesn't make sense. It's not gonna give you the lifestyle that you want. And I really got mad. I was like, well, what do you want? What do you want from me? Because you're telling me to stretch my faith and you're telling me to look bigger. And there is an aspect of it that it's an invisible, this is where it's faith. I can't put my finger on it, but it is not God. And you have to really use your discernment. And when it hurts, when you are listening to the person who's giving you wisdom day after day, and they have a life that I want to mimic, and they are giving me really good advice, if it hurts, then that means that it's stretching me. And I have to lean into that. And I have to trust it. So I may not have all the wisdom it takes to buy that perfect house, but I do have enough wisdom to listen to the voices that I know are guiding me in the right direction. And what's that quote that's like, if you at least just do the right thing today? What is that quote where it's like, just do the next right thing? That's what it was. If you don't know exactly what to do in the whole situation, do the next right thing. And for me, in that one moment, the next right thing was to trust my dad. And then you started to say, yeah, your dad's right. And I was starting to get mad at you because I'm like, no, you need to be on my side for this, because this doesn't make sense. And then when I saw even you said, no, this isn't it, I thought, okay, the next right thing is trusting my husband, trusting my dad, and moving forward with that and finding the next one.
Yeah, we didn't have a year to build a new home.
Yeah.
And the location wasn't all that great. So at the end of it all, you're going to go through over a year's process, still expensive, and still not be in the right location.
Yeah. How do you do that how do you balance between faithfulness and practicality as the leader of our home and as the builder of our future? Because you're also pursuing a side business on the side. I know I wanted to have something on the side as well. And we had this conversation in the car the other day about what I could do on the side, and you navigating, what is going to build our future, but also what's efficient for us right now, what's wise for us right now. How do you navigate through that?
Well, you know me, I like action. I like to do. I like to produce, right? Those are the things that get me going. I'm not one of these people that just sits around talking about an idea for months at a time. I'll talk about it. I'll get my confirmations. And if I feel like it's the right move, we're going to act on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's I don't know, that's just the way I am. That's my leadership style. That's what I do. Some people see it as well, that was fast.
Yeah.
It's well, no, you didn't see the whole process of before the step, maybe before the action.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're going through the right steps, the right wisdom, then an action is necessary.
Yeah.
Your sister, Gabby and Christian, they're going to get married. They're about to buy a house. I was helping them look for a home.
Yeah.
And we probably saw 10 properties, 15 properties maybe.
Yeah.
Not a lot compared to some people who look at, 40 before they buy a home. But when they found the house that they liked, was in the location that they wanted, had all the things, fit within their budget. It was a stretch in certain areas, but it was perfect for them. They made the decision. We put an offer in. We're going to close next week, So there's an action part of it that I like.
Yeah.
I think that's what is necessary.
Yeah.
If you want your life to grow, you got to take action. Which
you do so well. You're a hustler. You really are. People don't know how hard you work.
Oh, thank you. But my trap is I can't get stuck without using faith. I have to add faith to the formula.
Yeah.
If not, my pace is going to be slow.
Yeah.
Or my pace isn't going to get me to where I want to be because there's no faith activated.
Yeah. Now, another question, because people don't know this side of you. You were single until you were 30. 30. What, and I know that was a tough waiting season for you too, before finding me, the savior of your life, you know, the one who changed everything for you. And you're welcome. No, it's my pleasure. It's my honor to just totally change everything about you. I love you so much. Before you met me and your life just became a little brighter and the sun got brighter, what was that journey for you? How did you walk through those years of singleness? And be honest. Expand on it.
I mean, if there's a certain thing you want me to say, then tell me, because I don't want to miss it.
No, you say everything great. I just want you to expand on it and say more words. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Share from your heart.
I think it was a long time, and when I thought I was ready, so around the time I was like 27, you know, I had the career, I had already gotten, you know, both of my degrees. I was like, God, I'm ready. Like, what's going on? What's taking so long? Like, any minute, when are you going to do something? When are you going to bring that person? It was another 3 years, right? And I think that just kind of, that process produced in me a certain perseverance and patience.
Yeah.
Whereas now, when we're going through this next challenge, I have the perseverance and the patience and the trust. Hey, God's going to do it. Yeah. Like, I have that assurance.
Yeah.
Whereas you might get frustrated and you might be like, come on, God, why aren't you doing this? I'm like,
I'm spoiled.
I can revert back to that.
Yeah.
So like what I said in the beginning, how God is more involved, cares more about the process or relationship with Him through whatever it is you're going through. That's a perfect example of it.
And what did you do between 27 and 30 to when you were ready and you were just simply waiting? How did you navigate that? How did you get your mind off of obsessing over it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I dated people. I thought.
No, you didn't. You didn't date anybody before me.
No, I just did normal life.
Yeah.
You know, I served in church. I worked, went to the normal thing. I went on vacations. Yeah. Like, it was normal life. And you don't just sit around, you know, waiting. Yeah. And, you know, you just keep trusting in God.
The show must go on. It's so true. That I think that is why you have been very patient in this season and just trusting the Lord to do it, because he brought you just the most amazing wife ever.
Yes, He did.
And yeah, like, it's honestly, I'm very grateful for God to be putting us in this mini desert. It's not a big desert sea. It's not the most challenging thing we've ever walked to. It's just finding a home. And honestly, it does allow us to question, you know, if nothing ever were to be added to our life, which we know would never happen, God is going to add. But am I content with what He's given me now? And yes, my goodness, I'm so grateful for what the Lord has brought us. But what is so healthy about this season is, again, the Lord just exposing small habits that we might have gotten into, small mindsets that we've adapted that are not of God, or at least they're not going to give us the fruit that we want. And a scarcity mindset and scarcity talk was a big one. You don't talk saying, oh, well, Miami's never going to be the same. There's not enough houses out there. Just don't even buy into it. There's no point. There's no point in saying it and doing it. And then that's a big one that we had to eliminate. But then also, like, I had the tendency to obsess over things. Like, I can obsess over something that's not moving. I'll get on Zillow every single day. I'll look for side businesses and side hustles so we can make more money, so we can afford another house. And again, it's putting things back in my control and not trusting the Lord, which I disguise that as hustle. we gotta work hard. We gotta work at a different level, which is true. There is an aspect of that is very true. But in a season where I need to dedicate my free time to my kids that need me, that want me, and I need to teach them. I have to feed them. I got to bathe them. I got to take care of them. Why substitute that for a little bit more money, for the possibilities at a bigger house? Why push that? The truth is, God wouldn't even allow it. Like, I've surrendered my life to Jesus. I've let him guide me. And he has not allowed me to really pursue anything else. All those doors have closed as a protection for me, as a protection for us, to stay focused on what we are meant to do for this season in our life, you know?
Yeah. What about this one? The other day, somebody came to see our house, right? Mm-hmm. And that night, it started to sink in a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, there was strangers walking around our home today thinking if they wanted to buy it. And we started to think like, oh man, all the memories we've made in this home. Our kids, you know, first, everything for our kids was in this home. And so many cherished memories. It reminded me of like the people of Israel when they finally left Egypt. Yeah. And then they went through their first hardship and they started to complain like, oh, you just brought us out here to kill us. We were better off in Egypt. Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's thousands of years later. I know. And we're the same people. Humans are the same. I know. Right? We start to worry about missing our home. Our home. I know. But hey, then we started to say like, hey, God has way more memories to make, more firsts for us. Yes. Like all these new things that are exciting that he has right there in store for us, ready to give to us. But we got to let go. Yeah. And have faith that he's going to bring us into that. Yeah. No, my dad, he spoke on that. Please have a sip of my tea. I'm begging you. No, I like water. I'm begging you. It's good. Tea. It's going to help you. My dad, this past weekend, when he spoke on mental toughness, the one that really got me was you're good at change. That the person who's mentally tough is good at change. And it kind of like caught me in my tracks, stopped me in my tracks, because I have realized that I'm not very good at change. Like seasons changing, me changing, you changing. It really like throws me for a loop for a little bit. And when he said that, I really thought like, oh man, that's me. When things change, I used to tell myself, give yourself a little time to mourn. And yeah, sure. Like if you're sad to be leaving your house, if you're sad to be getting older, I'm a little melancholy to be ending my 20s, I'm 29, I'm in the last year, and I'm a little sad about it. That doesn't really lend itself to being mentally tough though. Because what if God really, really wants to use you in big ways? Like I've been thinking a lot about the parable of the talents and the one who was given 5 coins and he turned it into 10. Mm. Can you imagine if somebody came to that man to give him 5 more coins and he said, I'm sorry, I can't take on much more. I already handle so much. This is where I cap it. What if he wasn't good at change? What if he wasn't good at growth? Then he missed out on the opportunity to be used to turn it into 10. And even though, yes, we are operating at such a high level and our capacity is growing, what if down the line, God wants to use us for even bigger things? And these are small ways for God to stretch my capacity so that by then, in 10 years and 20 years, when an opportunity comes our way, we can say, you know what? Yes. Well, that is what God is doing, by the way. Yeah. That will be the end result. Yeah. That he is preparing us for that. For that. Exactly. I'm sure there's somebody listening right now that is listening to us and be like, I remember when I was there. Yeah. 20 years ago. Yeah. And they are so much further along than we are. But God, this is what God is doing in you and our life right now. So he does have more and greater and bigger and all this stuff for us, but he has to get us through these things first. Things. There's a quote, and I don't know who says it. If you know who says it, you can put it on the comments, but it says, the greatest consistency in life is change. Oh, yeah. My dad always talks about that. Yeah, I don't know. It always sticks with me because it's like, it's always going to happen. It's always going to change. I like change. I like
you do
moving furniture around.
Oh my God,
I like
every 3 years you like something new.
I like to keep it fresh.
Yes.
I have to teach myself to stay consistent.
Yeah.
And to think long term. Like I have to make an effort to do those things.
Yeah.
Because I naturally want change.
That's so true.
When I was a teacher, I used to teach high school, and sometimes on a Monday morning I would rearrange all the desks in a very not in rows, right? And the kids would come in. I would just like to see their faces, like, oh my gosh, where do I sit? I never had assigned seats, but they would assign their own seats, kind of a thing, because we're so much into consistency as humans. And I would just change it up and just watch what happened.
Yeah.
Because it was fun.
That is exactly you. Because I don't like that. I like a routine. I want to wake up at this time. I want to do this in the morning. I want to have this to eat. I want to have my coffee. I like my furniture. Once it finds its perfect place, keep it there forever. Please don't change anything. And then when you want to change it, it's like, no, please. But you find a better way. And it's like a really good yin and yang, they say. And also that scene in, you remember the Beckham's documentary where he had just retired. Where did he play last?
He played in Real Madrid, I think, or in LA, in Los Angeles.
Yes, and right when he retired, he flew to Miami, like the next day, flew to Miami and started Inter Miami. Do you remember that?
Well, that's what everybody saw, but he was probably planning and...
Yes. But like I'm saying, remember the interviewer asked her, like, why did you guys move so fast? Like, don't you want to give it some time to breathe? And Victoria just got quiet. And she just looked at the camera and she went, we've got places to go. We've got things to do. We're ready for the next season. And I was like, I want to be like that. And both of our parents are like that too, where it's like, they are ready for the next. If God is pushing them, if God wants them to grow, if God is asking them to build a house in Georgia, they're going to show up by themselves and they're going to build it. And I love that. It really inspires me to like stretch my capacity and always be ready for the next thing.
There's no room for being stagnant. It's exciting to have something to look forward to, something that you're planning, something you're scheming. Your grandma is like the epitome of that, right?
Oh my God.
Your grandma Faith.
Oh my
She's in her 80s and she's looking to buy another property. And she's on a search. It's what keeps her going in a sense, but it's what we're talking about. It's like change. It's pushing the limits, growing, it's stretching herself even at that age.
Yeah.
Like you don't stop that. And that didn't happen just now. Like I'm sure she was always that person.
Or she became that because of these seasons of stretching. Because before that, she was on the road, but she would travel with 2 twin daughters in a little tiny RV all around the country. And that was used by God to stretch her. And then as she got older and a lot was put on her plate and she was given a lot of properties to manage and a lot of finances to manage, she then had to use the wisdom component to learn how to manage all of that and to keep it and maintain it, which I so admire her for, because she walked that line of faithfulness, but being practical too and wise. And the one thing about her is she just surrounded herself with really smart people, and she listened and she obeyed. And that helped her. Is there anything else you want to add? Last thing before we...
No.
Finish it.
You want to remind them what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, faithfulness versus foolishness. But if you just have the right definition of faith and you have the right definition of practicality, then you could weave those two things together and navigate a season beautifully and come out the other side with more wisdom, with a larger capacity, with more patience, with more discernment, and with more faith that God can do anything if you just surrender your life over to Him, but also be willing to gain knowledge and wisdom from Him as well.
Yeah, I think if we believe that the Bible's the inspired Word of God, it's God-breathed, and He was telling all these authors in Proverbs to seek wisdom, to, write it as a tablet on your heart, to above all else, find wisdom. All these things about wisdom, like we have to get this. Solomon was given the magic genie came out and asked Solomon, "What do you want? I'll give you anything."
Magic genie
is the Holy Spirit, and he said, "I want wisdom." Right? Wisdom is this thing that we need to be striving for as believers. And then you have talking about faith. Faith without works is dead, and faith requires action. Then there has to be a way in 2025 to utilize those two truths for our life together.
Yeah.
They both need to be working together to make decisions.
Yeah.
And that's what we're figuring out.
That's what we're figuring out. But I'm glad to be figuring it out with you, Chris.
Yeah.
You're the bomb at it. And we'll be on here sharing our story of a miracle for sure.
Yeah.
And Chris and Rochelle too. God's going to come through. Well, that is it for the family business with the Alessis. We hope that this blessed you. We hope that it brought you clarity. And we hope you enjoyed our conversation with me, Stephanie, my husband here, Christopher Muiña. And if you enjoyed it, share. Oh my gosh, we also forgot to share. We made it to 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you for partnering with us and believing in our podcast. We just absolutely love coming on here and sharing with you our conversations as a family business. And stay tuned because we have so much more ahead of us. But here is the last thing. Share. Share this with 5 people who may need it. 5 of your friends, 5 of your married friends, 5 of your single friends, whoever who may need this topic of faithfulness versus foolishness. And trust me, it will bring them the clarity that they need. But we need you to share so we can grow the 6,000 to 7,000. But we hope that you enjoyed this. We hope it blessed you. And we thank you again for joining us for another podcast of the Family Business with the Alessis. Have a great day. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and click on the notifications bell so you can be notified for all of our future videos. And if you loved today's topic, we have plenty more. And you can click on this link right here to watch all of our videos so you can learn why family is everybody's business.